Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I wanted to take a look at and then talk a little bit about the Hull C, because this ship is set to release with Alpha 320, and there've been a lot of discussion around the gameplay with this ship. Now, this ship has a large cargo capacity, much larger than even the largest cargo ship in the game right now, which is the C2. And the C2 often struggles to fill its cargo hold with cargo when trading. So the question then becomes, how will you effectively and efficiently use the Hull C? So I want to start off this video by taking a look at the updates to it by watching ISC. I've already seen this video, but I wanted to kind of go through it and pause it at the parts that I think are particularly interesting and talk about and essentially theorize what kind of gameplay we might be getting in 320. So if this video interests you, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. And with all that out of the way, let's get right into the video.
From Musashi Industrial. Hey, John Crew, are you there?
Hello.
Now,
How you doing, man?
this is a pretty good episode of ISC, and I'm gonna link it in the video description, but we're gonna move a little bit past a lot of the descriptors and kind of take a look at what they're talking about here.
Diverse, designed for transporting bulk cargo.
Okay, so first off, one of the biggest things that we're going to notice so far is the larger SCU cargo containers. So I think it's fairly safe to say that CIG plans to have the larger cargo containers as a part of 320. Again, this is purely speculation. This is not on the roadmap, but a big reason why is because this ship's cargo capacity is so high. You would have a ton of entities on the server if these were each one SCU boxes. So these are basically, I believe, either the 16 or 32 SCU box. I'm not sure just by looking at it, but yeah, you can see here it is 3 deep, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 high. So, you know, just by looking at this picture, you could kind of do the math to figure out, you know, what the projected cargo capacity is. And it may be different from the stated specs that are on the website, because the Hull A's stated specs actually went up from the concept. So the Hull A actually has more cargo than the concept originally had. This might have more, this might have less. I don't know the math just by looking at this, but you can again pause this and kind of do the math to check it out. Another thing that stands out to me immediately, these bad boys right here. So these are the larger, what look to be the larger tractor beams. So you can, in theory, there is one at the bottom and there's one at the top. So you can, in theory, use the tractor beams to manage the cargo containers that are on basically this lower grid, and you can use the top one to manage the cargo that's on the top grid. Again, that makes sense. That looks like you'll feel good, but this is kind of our first time seeing it a little bit better. Then you've got a turret at the top here, and of course classic MISC design, and you got the letterbox windshield up here. So let's keep going.
Around the stations and between solar systems. We started it.
Okay, so here we get a better look at the tractor beam, and this looks pretty good. Like, this is a nice modeled out. Of course, you know, CIG is going to do a good job with this. But I would have loved to see this kind of in action. But you know, again, I think CIG are trying to get a couple of more vehicles in the game with tractor beams, vehicles like the 315P, the Cutlass, and a few others. So this will be kind of in line with those. I believe this tractor beam will be larger than those, so it will have the ability to manage those I believe 32 SCU boxes. So again, I don't know if it will be a situation where the multi-tool can't move these boxes. I don't know, because you could, right now you can move a lot of stuff with the multi-tool. I don't know if CIG are going to implement a kind of mass limit to the multi-tool when it comes to cargo. So I don't know if these will be 100% necessary right out of the gate, but I'm hoping they will be able to work where you can use them to manage the cargo on this grid. And it looks like this is a good example to show you the perspective range that you can have while using this tractor beam. So you have the ability to access boxes on the sides and the top, and the bottom tractor beam will kind of give you similar access.
It's, I want to say 5+ years.
Yeah, so you could see from this position you can access the panels on the left and right and above, and similar range of motion with the bottom one as well.
Years ago, we got so far on the art and design side, probably early grey box, and then the sheer amount of technical challenges with this ship became
You see the
apparent.
folding animation
We put a
here,
pause to it. Thought,
and you can see here as well, you have the same set of tractor beams on the back for the rear set of magnetic panels, or so when it is folded out, so you see this dot, let me go over here, so you see this dot right here, that is the front. These two are the front set of tractor beams, and then you have a rear set of tractor beams. So it looks like you have 4 tractor beams to manage the cargo on the 8 grids, because you have 4 grids in the front and 4 grids in the back. So you have 8 grids and you have 4 tractor beams to manage that. Then it looks like you have 2 remote turrets on the top. So we're getting some good information just from this footage right here.
back. The teams that need to help us have more important things to do at that point in time. There was,
And then you can kind of also see this little exterior door here. So you have EVA access. So it looks like when you go to the rear or engineering section, there's an exit door, so you can EVA outside, manage your cargo that way as well. Because this is a big ship, you guys. This is no joke. I do have this ship on buyback. The reason why I melted it was because I really didn't know, when it was going to come out, and I, wanted to mess around with the C2. And the C2 is great cargo ship for solo players. I don't really know how much it's gonna take to run this ship, but let's keep going.
object container streaming going on. So we're like, that's more important. We'll sort that out. We'll come back to it. And the last year or so, we've come back to it and had to deal with.
That's a good point as well, because one of the things that this gentleman here, John Crew, said on the ship talk is that this ship, the Hull C, enabled them to figure out how to do ship modules or modularity in ships. So actually this this expanding section is a module, and for the first time you can manage this, and it's connected to the ship's systems from the cockpit. So the Hull C is, you know, bringing on a lot of technology. Let's keep going.
With all those big technical challenges for the ship.
And how's it doing today? What can folks expect?
You can expect the ship working as we intended it to be when it was concepted. So it's quite a unique ship in the game. There's a lot of moving parts literally on it, and some tech in there that you've never seen before in any ship.
So this is really cool. The animations, again, when it comes to making spaceships, CIG is just kind of second to none. I mean, the level of detail on every ship is just kind of mind-blowing. Like what we're about to see next here, when I saw it for the first time on IC, I mean, it makes sense. Obviously you have to get from the front of the ship to the back of the ship, but being in that hallway as the panels are extending, incredible.
Ships. So primarily the hurdles revolve.
So you see the interior here, the main
around
hallway.
that central spindle section.
The engineering is at the back of the ship.
Walk through whilst it's doing those animated states. We've essentially got two parts of the ship that move independent, or they're animated together.
Yeah, so you could see this shaft here turning, the whole, all of the pieces coming out, the cowling around this section moving back into the ship. There's just so much movement going on, and you know, everything is animated and orchestrated to essentially go off the way it's supposed to. This is very cool to see. And you can see here the interior is kind of like this accordion wall, so it can extend and contract as the outer mechanism moves out. So as you're walking down the hallway, you can see the walls extending. Very clever, very cool looking. I love to see it.
And a new way of loading cargo into the ship.
Like, this whole perspective is very trippy, just standing in that hallway while that thing's moving. Very cool.
I want to talk to you about that. So one of the big questions since this thing was first introduced is how the cargo loading and unloading.
Yeah, so what we're about to see here is another huge thing that, you know, was concerning people about how you interact with this ship. Because to trade in Star Citizen, you need to have your ship landed at a pad, whether that's you know, at an outpost or station. Because when you're trading at a station or on the planet, when you go to a planet, you go to the TDD, your ship is in storage, but to the game it's technically on a pad. So the ship needs to be on a pad or in a box or in some type of container to be able to spawn the cargo on your ship. That's kind of how the cargo spawns, is it needs to be in some kind of container, and that container traditionally has been a pad on a planet or a hangar in a station or spaceport. So now we're going to see the solution to spawn the cargo on the ship, because this ship cannot land and its panels needs to be extended for the cargo to get on it. So if it can't land with the panels extended, then how is the cargo going to get on it? So we're about to see how that's going to work.
Alpha 320. Who can tell us about that?
I think we can probably get Chris Hanks on the line.
I'm going to kind of fast forward here so you guys can see
in Alpha
what's
320,
going on.
the Hull C behaves as we expect it to. When it's extended, when its cargo arms are out, it can't land. So it can't take cargo in the normal sense that any other ship that takes cargo does while it's landed. So you go to your cargo terminal, you buy as much cargo as you want, you set it to the Hull C, but the system recognizes that it can't spawn the cargo while the ship is landed. So you get in your ship, you fly it out of the hangar, and then contact ACC again. That is when the ship realizes.
So this is a really cool thing that I want to talk about too, is you have the the ATC, Port Tressler, but then you have a second ATC for cargo. So this is really cool. So when you contact this one, your cargo will be delivered. Now, I don't know if this system is going to be available to other ships that have external cargo, like the Hull A and B, even ships like the Nomad and the Raft. I think it might be convenient or accessible. Again, if you just, you know, if you have to go in and buy anyway, it just makes more sense. But we know that this UI is in the mobiGlas, so technically other ships should be able to use it, but I don't know yet. They haven't said anything about other ships being able to use this system. But let's keep going so we can see exactly what this system looks like.
I'm out of the landing zone now. I'm ready to take some cargo.
Okay, so this is a...
Extend it, contact the ATC.
Wait, let me go back a little bit here.
You fly it out of the hangar and then contact ATC.
So this
again.
part is big because it is a...
realizes, oh, I'm out of the landing zone now.
Is a brand new UI element. So remember what I was talking about where your ship needs to be in a container for them to spawn the cargo. So basically they've created essentially a HUD element, a visualized version of what this container looks like. So CIG has created the container in this cargo area of the spaceport. So the spaceport essentially has a cargo deck, and you could kind of see the spaceport's cargo region here, and you follow that region on your HUD, and you essentially park in this box, and this box is where your cargo will be spawned. And you can see the HUD element up here as well, which basically says cargo transfer requested, and it's awaiting your arrival. So when you go into the box, the cargo will spawn on your ship. I think this is very clever and just an easy and understandable way to do it. And you could kind of imagine it as a scenario like you park your ship in a specific location, drones come out and they deliver the cargo to the cargo grid, and you're on your way. So in my opinion, that's still pretty immersive way that they were able to do it.
Ready to take some cargo. So extend it.
And as you can see here, the cargo just slowly spawns on your ship. Now, I don't know if this is exactly how it's going to be like in game, if it's all going to populate on your if it's all going to populate on your ship at once, or if it's kind of something that is like there's a cargo timer. Again, they haven't said anything about you know, cargo elevators or cargo timers, but we did see a sneak peek image of a cargo elevator with these larger, I believe 32 SU boxes on the elevator. So if they are able, now again, take this with a whole bottle of salt, if they're able to manage to get cargo elevators in 320, that'll be very interesting and a huge step to persistent hangars. Just let that sink in for a second. Cargo elevators is a huge step into getting in persistent hangars. So interesting stuff can still be coming this year, but let's keep going.
Contact the ATC and the cargo will spawn on your ship then.
Yep.
Does this thing fit in any hangars?
So yeah, we also get to see a little bit more of the interior here.
Kind of back in the day. I think some of the other kind of updates we've had to do to kind of maintain.
Another thing I want to go back and just
compared to where it
point
was
out
kind of
for
back
a
in the
second.
day. I think some of the
You can see the fire extinguisher here, and you can see on some other ships that there is kind of a modeled out location for the fire extinguisher, but the fire extinguisher isn't in that location. So fingers crossed we hear an update about that. Again, there's still a lot of time between now and 320, and a lot of different ISCs that we can have where they're probably going to go over some of the stuff that they are trying to get into 320. Because when they redid how they do the roadmap, they essentially changed how they talk about what's coming into the next patch. So unless it's patched, it's go no go, they don't really put it on the roadmap anymore.
Other kind of updates we've had to do to kind of maintain it over the years is just the kind of like the simple things like
this is
we now have a lot more
classic
interaction
Mist
in the ships, which we
design.
never had back when it was first started.
Very
So
industrial
making sure
looking.
all the
I love
panels
it.
are accessible and open and close and animate. Make sure the dashboard's all interactive and all those fun things.
So also you could see the turret here. Now I believe this is a turret station for the tractor beam. So again, you have what I believe it's showing 0 here is your 4 tractor beams, and you might be able to cycle between the 4 cameras to manage your cargo. So you see gyro mode, and 341, this is 30 meters away, this is 27 meters away, so you kind of get that range. And there's kind of like a bar here, so this looks like this is the HUD for that. Again, I could be wrong, this could be a gun to it, but seeing that there is no labels in these boxes, it's just zeroed out. To me, this looks like this is the tractor beam remote turret. So you get in the remote turret and you can cycle between the 4 tractor beam cameras, and then you get kind of a range how far away the boxes are from the tractor beam, and you can see kind of, I guess, your maximum range is right here, this 341 meters. So past 341 meters, the tractor beam might not work. And then you're in gyro mode, and you can see these boxes 27 and 30 meters away. They're not too far away to use the tractor beam on. So let's keep going.
What's used to now.
What are some of your favorite parts? What are things that people should look out for visually?
I think, to be honest, the ship is a very industrial ship, and it really kind of feels that way. There's some like little things that I just love, like the.
Yeah, this is really cool. The what do we got here? These, I guess, different areas that you could go to. I guess there's specific rooms for the different roles or something.
The main kind of airlock entrance into the ship feels really big and chunky and strong, which I think is needed on something so
Getting
industrial.
lots of pipes.
And that kind of industrial.
These hallways look
language
great.
Kind of flows throughout the ship. I think my kind of main favourite place is engineering in the rear. The whole rear of the
Like
ship
this is really cool.
to,
like a
really,
3-story engineering
encompassing
area.
That idea that you
know.
are on a big.
I think the
workhorse,
Carrack
there's
engineering
big
area
engines,
is
there's
2
massive
stories.
pipes, it
Might
feels
be
really
3.
kind of like nice and moody and a little bit dangerous, and I think that's kind of really helps sell what's going on the outside of the ship, but inside.
Well, that all sounds great. So, what did we learn this week? Well, we learned.
So great episode of ISC. This is kind of a funny frame to pause it on, but let's talk a little bit now about what the community is saying, because a lot of people are saying that the Hull C is going to need big economy changes before CIG implements them. And there's kind of like 2 roles, in my opinion, that the Hull C fits under. That's cargo hauling, which is essentially mission based. You get a mission to pick up cargo, you get that cargo, you transport it from point A to point B, you get paid, but you don't own the cargo belongs to someone else. If that cargo gets intercepted by pirates or NPC or other players, then your reputation will get affected and you won't get paid. There might even be a penalty. But if you are successful, you get paid just for hauling that cargo, not any part of the profits of that cargo being traded. Then there is, of course, direct player trading, where you go to a location and you buy resources for a low price in a region that has an abundance of that resource, and then you go to a place in space that has a deficit of that resource and you sell that resource for higher. That trading loop is in the game now, but it is very limited. I said earlier in the video that even the even the C2 struggles to fill its cargo hold. How is the economy going to handle multiple players having a ship like this? And you have to remember, the economy system in game right now is global, so multiple shards affect each other. It's not shard based, so somebody on a different shard will affect the prices of commodities in my shard. So the question is, will CIG tweak the numbers to make this ship be able to trade? Now, of course, they said it in this ISC that you can go to space stations and buy cargo. It will be delivered. You can buy cargo, you can fly to the location where the cargo will be delivered. The cargo will be put on your ship and you go about and trade it. And the cargo that goes on this cargo grid is the larger, I believe, 32 SU boxes or 16 SU boxes, not the single ones. Now, I don't know if the single ones will be delivered to your ship, but we know that the large ones will be. So we're suspecting that the larger cargo containers will be in the game when this the Hull C gets added. So my takeaway is that yes, they might tweak the numbers a little bit, but I don't personally believe we'll get too many significant changes to the economy. Now, the economy did get a massive change with location-based resources, and I said that this was a big precursor to make an economy work. And again, you probably wouldn't be able to update the economy in this way with the old system, because you could just buy resources from anywhere. But with location-based resources, it is a lot easier to predict supply and demand, and you can balance the economy a lot better. So CIG can essentially up the quantities to be able to handle the ship, and that's what I believe they're going to do. I believe that, you know, all they have to do is say, okay, now there's a lot more abundance of stuff for you to go after. This will be a good thing for smaller traders as well, because it means that if you own a C2, you might be able to just fill it in one trip. That would be huge. You know? So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about this ship. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think an economy overhaul or another economy overhaul is needed for this ship? I don't think so. I think they're just going to tweak the numbers and you know, and give us larger quantities to work with. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you excited for the Hull C? Do you have a Hull C? I'd love to hear from you guys. Should I get my Hull C back? I'm very tempted to. It's right there waiting my buyback, and it's calling my name, so I might update you guys on that. But thanks for hanging out with me here today, you guys. I love making these videos. You guys have been knocking it out of the park, liking, subscribing, watching the content, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, like I always say, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Salute.